These are the top 10 mistakes I see of people who sell online. If you're a coach, if you're an online closer, if you've got your own digital service, whatever you've got, stop making these mistakes and you'll make way more money. So the first one is no clear next yes. The sale is one big yes. And to get to the big yes, we need a multiple accumulation of little yeses. So next meeting, the first meeting, a decision call, whatever it is. But remember, if you don't have a next yes in the calendar with your prospect, you're not moving towards the big yes. So always make sure you've got a next yes. The next one is pitching and giving your prices way too soon. I see this all the time with coaches. They're like, yes, I've got a call. I'm gonna have a call with a prospect. They jump on the call. The prospect says, how much is it? Boom, you go into your product, you go into your service, you go into how much it's gonna cost, and you haven't asked them any question, you haven't created a need. And as soon as you go in with your pitching too early and your pricing, you always lose the sale. The next one is not tracking any data. You don't track your close rates, you don't track your show rates. If you don't know your close rates and your show rates, how do you know where to improve? Use a basic CRM and keep it up to date. And I recommend as well that you invest in a sales call recorder like Fathom for $15 a month. You can start to actually look at the data and see where you need to improve. If you don't know if people are showing up to the call or they're showing up but they're not closing, how do you know what the bottleneck is? Guys, the next one I see, and I live by this rule, is stop extending yourself financially. Stop buying shit you don't need. Stop financing stuff you don't need, because what happens is you bring that financial stress into the sales call with the prospect, because in the back of your mind you think, God, I need to pay off my credit card, I've got this to pay off, I've got to pay off my BMW finance, whatever it is. And what happens is you bring that need, I need to make this sale, into the sales call, and the prospect feels it, feels desperation. And what happens is you bring that unnecessary stress in and you push the prospect further away. So stop bringing that additional financial stress into the sales call, guys. The next one is you take objections as words carved in stone. Remember, a man has two reasons for doing a thing. The first one sounds good, and the second one is the underlying truth. So remember, if you get an objection, you've got to understand it's just a smoke screen. It's not the actual problem at play. And you have to learn to dissect it, get under it, and get to the real objection. I see this one a lot if you're jumping on cold calls or you're jumping on sales calls and you're new to sales, you're a coach, you're a marketing agency trying to get some business, whatever you do. You don't know what you're gonna say. So you jump on the call, you jump on the cold call. Oh, hi Steve, yeah, this is Matey from marketing agency. Yeah, I just wondered, who does your marketing? Fucking hell, if I pick up that phone, I'm gonna be like, mate, like, you know what I mean? It's like you've got to have a script. You have two things in a call. You have an intention and a plan. If you don't know what you're going to say, you've got no intention or plan for the call. So have an understanding what you're going to say. The next one is not actually knowing what your product or service solves. I know it sounds stupid, but think. Most likely your product or service, it solves the same 2 or 3 problems. You could have 1,000 customers, but 1,000 customers would have the same 2 or 3 problems at hand. You have to understand what those are. When you understand the actual problems your business solves and why people should work with you, you design your questions around those 3 problems, and you only ask questions based on those 3 problems to get the prospect to tell you if them problems exist and to get them to say it from their boca, their mouth. The next one is not recording your sales calls. I promise you, if you want to 1.5, 2 times your sales in the next month, pay $15, get a sales recorder, download the sales calls. No one blaps an eyelid now when there's a recorder in the Zoom call. No one says, oh, what's this recorder doing? Like, no one cares. And when you finish that sales call, listen back. Pay for a sales coach to listen to your calls. Listen back and think, where did I go wrong? What should have I asked? What got the prospect defensive? What got the prospect open? What helped me connect with the prospect's problem? So if you want a 1.5, 2 times your sales in the next 2 months, this is the #1 thing. This is a bit of a different one, but this is more around services. I believe a business should be able to attack a prospect in every single angle in terms of their offers. So obviously you've got your main packages, they're 5 grand, 10 grand, whatever you sell. But you should always have like a downsell offer. So something which is healthy margins, digital products, such as access to a school community. And what that does is if you do get an objection and you just can't get past the budget objection, they don't have the money to do your main service, what you can do is you can downsell them to the lower priced offer, and that be a healthy margin. And what that does is it allows you to constantly serve your market, and it allows you to bring in potentially lost revenue into the business. Talking too much is the final one, the big mistake I see. You jump on the call and you want to show your expertise to the prospect, which I completely understand. You may think you're sounding like an expert and that's going to convert the prospect. But first, get the prospect talking about their problems and then fill your expertise within the gaps which they have, which aren't allowing them to go from A to B, and they don't know why, and you know why your service does this. That's when you start talking about your expertise. And that is how you come across as a credible expert, not just some salesperson who's trying to sell them something. So that's the 10 mistakes you've got to stop doing if you want to increase your sales. I guarantee you if you did all of these, you could double your sales easy. All right, cheers peeps.